talking on the podcast. I forgot to hit the button.
Nope.
All of that for nothing. Oh no. I fucked up. Okay, let's just say this again. I apologize. I screwed up. Starting over. Join us on Discord by going to our Facebook page, NMM New Mission Motorsports. Look for the Discord link in the About section. Bring that over to the fan or New Mission Motorsports on Discord, and you'll hang out in the fan chat or the fan hangout. We'll bring you in. If you're looking for it somewhere else, you can also go to Twitch, New Mission Motorsports on our Discord. Again, grab that link and come on over. I can't believe I just screwed all that up.
All right, we need to record that so we can just play it back.
Yeah, it might be a good idea.
Now, a word from our sponsor.
Oh, Greg
New
is
Mission
saying...
Motorsports on Facebook.
No, I'm saying sound was just out, not in and out.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I forgot I selected it over to go to my overhead mic, because last week when I did the edit, my sound was really loud, given that it was on the headset, so I moved it over to the other one, and I forgot to unmute it. So,
Gotcha.
what a dumb fuck. Sorry, guys.
We all have our moments.
All right, we got him in here in fan chat. Let's go ahead and bring him up. This is what we're going to do from here on out. Anybody that wins New Mission Mania is going to be invited to speak with us. In here now, we got Robert. Are you there?
Hello?
Hey, man, congratulations on your win tonight.
Oh, wow. I appreciate it.
So, you've been doing this for a while. You planning on sticking around?
Playing with y'all?
Yeah, you hanging out with us?
Yeah, I'll stay with y'all.
That's good to hear. Bring some more friends.
I don't have anyone else that runs iRacing on a day-to-day basis.
You got to find them then.
You got to get that day that they do run to be Wednesday.
Yeah.
Hey, Robert, what was going on up front there towards the end of the race? There was a lot of apologizing, and it seemed like wrecking and stuff. I was in the very back, just trying not to kill anybody. So, yeah, what was going on up there?
It was a lot of, there was one car, he got up there, and then, he was just up there messing around, and he ended up falling back, and, got the second, and me and the, 22 got in there, and we kind of rode each other's, I rode his bumper there going into 3 one time, and then we got the caution, and, you know, it all came down to that last 3 laps.
That was fun. I knew that was going to be a good battle between you two.
Yeah, it sounded like it was fun up there. I definitely couldn't see it. I wasn't close enough, but it sounded like it was some real good racing.
Yeah. He ran me for my money because I knew he had he'd go into one and slide up and get me and block me, but I ended up protecting that bottom, but he lost it at the bottom.
Yeah, it looked like there in that last green-white checkered that the 22 going into one got sideways, about spun out. I don't know if he actually spun out or not, but
It was a fun race to watch from behind. I mean, Dave and I have known each other for a while. The guy that you were racing, and he's a good dude. So glad to have you here. Hopefully one day he'll get to join us on here too. Probably just have him as a guest at some point. I mean, he's got a lot of iRacing experience, especially from the admin side. That could probably help us.
Yeah, he's a clean racer. I give it to him.
Oh yeah.
I could have probably had a dog in that fight if somebody hadn't given me an EOL there.
Yeah.
But I probably deserved it though, because
No.
I sort of ran the 18 over trying to get underneath him. I just slipped up to the slick and flipped him, I think.
What's that also? So what happened is
No, it's what had happened was
no shit.
Yeah.
No shit. There I was clicking buttons.
That's why when you did it, I asked, was that intentional or not? Because I figured, well, I kind of deserved it, but I don't know.
No, man, I did it on accident. Like the only way I can figure out how to do it without having to type a bunch of stuff in while driving is have them hold their microphone, which is probably an easier way somewhere. And then I right click on it, and I'm guessing when I looked at it when he put it up after I told him to, it might have flipped to you keying up at some point, and I just right clicked on whatever name was there, went to EOL, and Then you asked me, and I was like, fuck.
Nah, it did because I was trying to. I just figured out how to extend the cautions. I don't know if it's the right way, but I'd figured out how to make it stay yellow longer so some people could actually pit and try to repair their damage. And then I think all we did is ride around under caution because I don't think anybody actually pitted.
Yeah, I think that time you're right. It was everybody was ready to try to finish the race. I think.
See, and I think I gotta add a hotkey for that delay green because I have one open spot here, and I think I could use it tonight because it was quick. We would immediately go 2 to green, and there were a few times there that pit road didn't even open.
Yeah, so what I did was just type the same thing as to make it 1 lap, and I made it 4 laps. So you can do that. I don't know if that's the right way. We should look it up, but
Yeah.
that
So,
works.
so Robert, you sticking with us, man? What kind of racing you want us to do? What, you got a fan vote for anything?
I'd say just stick with the free stuff because then I can race. But I mean, I think we should definitely do a dirt late model race like Eldora or something. That would be pretty fun, and I know a lot of people enjoy it.
You damn dirt guys. Well, I don't know who's
Hey,
picking next week.
Yeah,
We'll have to discuss that later.
it's not me. So
Yeah, I can do it. It's not a big deal.
okay, yeah.
So we're doing 358s at.
358's a road course.
Oh my god! Hell no! Hell no!
Nah, I lost what I set up. I don't know what happened to it. Somewhere along the line, I lost the setup I made, and it was pretty good for road courses, so
That's-
probably not.
What was that? Silverstone? I think it was the 358.
No, I made a setup for. I don't even remember what the track was called. It was one of the free road courses, though.
Ah.
It wasn't Silverstone. It was a different one.
I'd even say let's do maybe a NASCAR race at like Charlotte, like in
I've
old cars. That'd be pretty cool.
I've thought about using the A-class cars because a lot of people that get into iRacing, I think, want to experience that. So I feel like that would probably be a quick purchase for a lot of people, given that they can run Carb Cup. So I've thought about
sure.
it. I don't know what track to go to, but I mean, I would willing to bet Talladega, Daytona, which are the common. I mean, everybody goes to Talladega and Daytona, but at the
Yeah,
same
but-
time, that could get really complicated.
Yeah, and cautions there last
Yeah,
forever.
exactly.
Yeah, it's a little too big, I think, for what we do.
We could always do the A cars at USA. That'd be fun.
Might as well just do Martinsville. We tried that. Well, we tried it in the trucks. It didn't work.
We tried it in the trucks, yeah. So I don't know. We still have options out there.
Bristol Dirt with the street stocks are pretty crazy because they're slower, but like if you find the right line, you can rail past people.
Yeah, absolutely.
That might be something. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably have Bristol. Bristol's one of those tracks that people want. Plus, with it adding
Yeah,
dirt
see-
now, everybody it's another branch of people looking for it.
Yeah, it's the same thing as like you said about the cup cars. Everyone sees Bristol and says, "Oh, we want Bristol."
Well, Robert, I appreciate you coming tonight. I appreciate great win, man. Thanks for hanging in there. You win again, you come back. But before we let you go, because we do have some crunch time here, who's your pick to win Texas this week?
Oh, I
Better be a Ford.
I would either say Truex or Bush. I'd say those two are. I know Truex is pretty hungry for a win, and Kyle Busch is definitely getting tired of these cars being broke. But
Yeah.
Now Kyle Busch is losing his pit crew this week, so
Yes, it's
Yeah.
going to Denny.
yeah.
Yep.
So
we
he'll just have like the B team, you know.
I was
Constantly.
at Darlington when he blew up, and the dang crowd went like roared because he. blew up.
Oh,
But that was these cars are going like these cars are just breaking.
yeah. Oh, believe me, that's going to be a discussion tonight, especially after this past weekend. But Robert, appreciate you coming in, man. You have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to tell your friends, man. Like, follow, share, subscribe. This will be out tomorrow.
yeah,
You
man.
can get it on YouTube. Thanks for coming
I
out, man.
will. I'll be back next week to hopefully get another one.
Hope so, man. You have a good night.
All right, you too. You guys have a good one.
All right, Robert, take care, man.
Have a good one, man.
All right, I bumped him down to the fan hangout there. There we go. And he's gone. So he kind of dabbled into a little bit, but before we do that, iRacing, how'd this go? How'd iRacing go for you guys this week?
Not real good this week. I missed, where did we go? California in Triple Threat. I really wanted it. I bought the track. I painted a new car. And then, family happened. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I missed the race. I really wanted to be in that race, but, it is what it is.
The race itself, man, went pretty well. I screwed up. Screwed up on my qualifying, got myself set all the way back at last, pretty much, for the Xfinity. Worked my way up to, I believe, second or third. And, okay, so they lost their admin for the week that normally does the behind the scenes, and he announces when the stage end was. And I was waiting for that, and I miscalculated. They said at the beginning it's stage minutes at 55, or stage breaks at 55. I thought it was 55 minutes in. It was actually 55 minutes left. Totally screwed myself. Only was able to get a P6, I think, out of it. So,
that's not too bad,
Oh, my tires were shot to shit. Hopefully you can come back this week. We got Phoenix this week. It's gonna be a hard one.
Yeah, I'll be there. And then I practiced at Atlanta with the group a little earlier, right before, maybe about 15 minutes before we started our race at 7:30. So
they're doing the old Atlanta, right?
Yep, old Atlanta.
And then Greg, you and I did the iRacing Warriors League on Monday.
I forgot about that, but yeah.
Yeah. It was fun, but I was having some issues there too.
Yeah, Corey had a steering wheel disconnected halfway, and I couldn't keep track of where my pit stall was, and sped on pit road and got screwed there. So it was it started off as a good race. I mean, we
dominated practice.
Yeah, I was gonna say we were Corey and I were the fastest two in practice there, and then we were racing with Ian, one of the guys that's come in the channel here some, and he was probably the best car, to be honest. And then
most consistent for sure.
And like I told everybody in there, this was my first real long distance asphalt race, especially anything in trucks or cars or any of that with the NASCAR stuff. But yeah, I just didn't know where my pit stall was. It was around the corner at Phoenix. The pit road has a tight curve in it, and it got behind my window post, couldn't see it, and I was trying to look at that. Speaking of that, I need somebody that knows how to do it to tell me how to change where the little indicator is telling me pit road speed, so I can move it down to the center of the screen instead of being at the top.
Oh, like your black box is one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Alt K.
Okay. I need to move that, because I think if I move that, then I could still look to my left and still see the pit road speed, because that was a problem. I had to look up at the pit road speed and try to look where I'm going, and I couldn't get both of those going in my brain at one time. Not smart enough, apparently.
Yeah, Alt K allows you to move any of the black boxes. That's a word of advice for you guys out there too. But yeah, I've had to do that multiple times, and I think I got one that I got to move again. But yeah, another word of advice for those of you out there. He mentioned that I had a wheel disconnect. That's not entirely true. I had to reset my wheel last week twice, because those of you that have a T300, what are these things? Thrustmaster with the T300 wheelbase, the fan runs constantly sometimes after you turn it off. The whole system will be off, but the fan will run, so you have to unplug it. And a couple times last week, this is the only thing I can think of, I recalibrated everything. Everything felt different, and I couldn't hardly hold the car. I was spinning out by myself, nobody around me at Phoenix. And then I started looking into it, I think yesterday, and I found that the mapping that I had for steering wheel was at 938, and you should be no more than 900, between like 870 and 900. So those of you out there listening, check your wheels. That might help you out a bit. Hopefully that fixed it.
You seem to be all right now.
It seems to be better. I mean, I just got to learn. Texas this week has not been good yet, but never been a fan.
Then besides that, we were in you've been running daily or every other day on your normal schedule, but I ran a couple 358 races there, trying to get in the same race with you, but couldn't do it because we're in 2 different splits. But
Well, it's because you were good. I'm not.
well, as I learned on Monday when I tried to do it, not good enough apparently, or I guess it was Friday, not good enough apparently because I was number 6 in my race and ended up finishing 7th.
Yeah, I ran one today. I took pole. This is one of my first ones running these two. I did it at the Weed Sport last week, and that didn't go so well, but I took the pole and ended up leading all the laps and winning it today in one. I felt like the track was easy, though.
It's a lot easier than Weed Sport. You
Yeah.
started on probably the hardest track. I mean,
No,
like I said,
Weed Sport
I
was
started
terrible.
you out. I started you out on the hardest track. I tried to show you how to drive it, and I warned you that it was going to be tough to get a hold of. It took me.
Yeah.
I had somebody showing me how to race it, and it took me probably 3 or 4 races to really get the hang of it. And then and I'm talking, we ran like 50 lap races, and after I did that, I think about after probably like the 50 lap race, or it might have been 100. I don't know. It was a long race. I remember. I think it was 100 because it was about like 80 laps in. I started to get the hang of it, but it takes a while.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, I don't know if you have that track, but if you ever get a chance to look at it, coming out of 4, there's this nice little wall there that'll help you over the fence if you hit it right.
What track are we talking about now?
Weed Sport, it's a dirt track, and it looks like, okay, so you know, like Richmond's a D, it's got a straight back way, and then
Yep.
flip it. Now the backstretch has that arc.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
But coming out of 4, there's like this wall right there on the inside, and it'll flip you.
More like turn 1 is a 90-degree turn, and then the rest of the track is normal. But because turn 1's at 90 degrees,
Yeah.
it makes the whole thing seem like a D shape.
Yeah, I got you.
It's ridiculous. It was fun. It was hard. It was challenging, but oh my god.
Hey, I figured if you can master that, you'll be good to go anywhere.
Yeah, the track that they're running this week's pretty fun. A lot of room. It felt like there was at least 3 grooves.
Yeah, Charlotte's kind of boring to race after a while. Once you've gotten, once you run it a few times, it gets old. But it's a good track for room to work around.
Yeah, I'm sure. So, okay, yeah. So for iRacing Triple Threat, join us this week, Friday night. We'll be running Phoenix, 90 minutes of racing. Hopefully, Kevin and I can get another double win.
Let's do it.
That'd be nice. It's going to be a slick track. Their setup is actually a little slippery on the Xfinity car, so it's going to be tough. I'm not sure about the truck. Last time it felt really neutral.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It
Is
gets
it?
a little loose coming off of, I don't know what turn that is. Let's see, like 2 maybe onto the old front stretch.
Okay, yeah, turn 2 then.
Yeah, it's a little loose there early, but it felt like after a little run it was pretty neutral. So we'll see how it goes.
Excuse me. Yeah, and then next
Which
week,
means it could really tighten up on a long run. So
absolutely, and it probably will. And then next week
Yeah.
we'll be running old Atlanta, which I was hoping for new, but I could see why they would do old with the triple threat.
yeah, and that's going to be a tire wear race. That's
Yeah,
going to be managed tires, and let's see what happens. Yeah.
absolutely. I got to practice some of that. I didn't get to practice with it tonight. You did. I would ask you how the setup was, but I mean we're in 2 different vehicles. That ain't gonna.
Yeah. So Josh, he told me the Xfinity car is probably the most stable out of the 3. So
Really?
and he was telling them a couple guys in the Xfinity cars, he was telling them just hug the bottom, and then in the truck I went to the top pretty quick because it was so loose on the bottom.
You're not going to be able to hug the bottom in the long run, though. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. He said that car was real stable. It felt like everything was under the car really good compared to the other 2. So we'll see.
yeah, we'll see how that goes next week.
He said the trucks really take off at the beginning, and then their
that was
tires
common.
wear much faster.
Yeah,
so-
that was common last season too. The trucks were actually dominant. I think we discussed that before. Like we would be top of the board for qualifying all the time, given that it was a shorter track. On the long straights like Pocono and Talladega and whatnot, everybody was where they should be. But yeah, on like short tracks and stuff like that, trucks were always up front, and then within 15, 20 laps, you're all intermingled because the trucks are worn out.
Yeah.
And the Monster Energy car, or the Cup cars, I keep saying Monster Energy. What a dumb shit.
The Sprint Cup. Oh no,
Yeah,
the Winston Cup. No, the
fuck
Grand
yeah.
National. I don't remember what it was.
I mean, we discussed that before too. Greg is the only one out of all of us that knew that it's no longer Monster.
Yeah.
Because I mean, every time I watch a race, I'm looking for the Monster chicks. Ooh. You see them? I never thought they went away. So.
Well, they might be an associate sponsor at a specific track or something, or who knows.
Well, they still sponsor what, Ty Gibbs now?
No, not Ty Gibbs now. Is it Ty Gibbs now? Or is
And it's
is
Kurt Busch, but
is he done? Is he done, Kurt Busch, for the year?
I think he's out the rest, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I guess it's Ty Gibbs then.
Yeah.
speaking of that, what happens with the rookie deal now? Is there no limit on how many races he can run? Because
It used to be a limit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure what it is. Yeah. Maybe we can look that up while we're talking.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that either. But I mean, for this week, as far as NASCAR went, it was a very eventful week. Noah Gragson winning the Xfinity Series race. I can't remember who won the truck now off the top of my head. And of course, NASCAR.com doesn't seem to care.
Ty Majeski.
There you go, Ty Majeski. Which actually sounds good for iRacers because that's pretty much where he got his start, isn't it?
That's the only reason I know he won, because I saw iRacing post it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, he got picked up from iRacing, I believe. He got noticed by a junior.
I think he won a Coke Series championship and got a test session thing, and then it stemmed from that.
It might be. I mean, I remember when Michael Conti won the NASCAR, well, now it's Coca-Cola Series. I can't remember what it was back then. It might have still been Coca-Cola, but we were in New York at the time. I want to say it's 2015, and he was like 17 years old. And I was like, really? You lucky son. But yeah, he races. From what I understood, his dad does the crew chiefing for him, and his brother did the spotting for him. So it was actually a family affair, which I find cool. I mean, that's great. But yeah, we'll see. And then we got who won? I know the guy because I don't like him. Noah Gragson. Yep, I'm that guy that doesn't like him. I'm not a big fan of Noah Gragson, but congratulations to him. He won Bristol. Still covered in vomit.
You're not the only one that doesn't really.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the method. I just don't really like it.
No, I mean I try to see, like, there's some things in personal character that I haven't liked, and that's my opinion. I'm sorry, folks. That's just my opinion. I mean, we can have our drivers that we don't like. I can hear people being upset already. But
Listen,
he's got a big backing. He does, and I can see why.
It's Kyle Busch all over again. I mean, it's the idea that you can have a driver that has fans and has people that don't, haters, for lack of a better term, I guess.
Yeah.
The controversy brings people to watch, and that's what racing needs. They need the rivalries. They need the people that people don't like. They create just as much publicity as the people you do like.
Yeah.
Everybody in NASCAR has been watching what happened with Kyle Busch. How many of us actually like Kyle Busch?
Yeah.
Not many, is the way his attitude is, but I was talking to my dad about Kyle Busch the other day that, if he didn't act like such a little kid half the time, which he admits. Like, it was funny listening to his announcement thing. He mentioned the fact that he acts like a kid sometimes. But, if he didn't do that, yeah, I'd probably like him because he's a heck of a driver. But, just the mentality of it and the whininess of everything is what draws some people away.
Sometimes those guys that are so competitive can't, put it like they wear everything on their sleeve. If they're happy, if they're sad, if they're pissed off, and he just might be one of those guys,
Exactly.
It's all emotional reaction.
He's probably not an asshole. He's probably a nice guy. But the persona in racing is, he doesn't give a shit sometimes, or he doesn't, that's just the way he comes off. But It might just be that competitiveness. So when it doesn't go his way, he's as happy as he is when it goes his way. He's the exact opposite, and he can't hide it like a lot of other professional drivers can.
Yeah, I mean, and don't get me wrong. When I say I don't like a driver, I don't hate him. I mean, there's yeah, -1, but we don't need to go on that one. Uh, but I mean, he used to have that bad boy attitude and not care. I mean, you look at Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch actually lost his ride because of his attitude back in 2000, I think 12, with Penske because of his attitude and stuff. And I'm glad they've grown away
Yeah.
from it and stuff. But now, yeah, you've got Noah Gragson who kind of has that same appeal, but then he's got to have a mullet. His suit's open with his chest hair hanging out, dying to rub it. I'm like, dude, come on.
That's another thing.
Yeah, come
with,
on.
With
But
Grayson though, and it's nothing about the no shirt. The question is, doesn't NASCAR have a mandate that you have to wear Nomex underwear? How does he get away with not having it?
It's got a Nomex thong.
Yeah, I don't know. Do they have that?
Yes.
I don't know.
I don't know. I
rules
didn't
are.
look it up. I meant to look it up because my dad and my uncle, we were talking about that this week at this past weekend, and I meant to look it up because we were talking about that. I know like Formula One does. I think NASCAR does, but I don't know what the rules are.
Well, I just typed in "do NASCAR drivers wear?" and the first thing that came up was diapers. So some of them need that.
Hey, so going back real quick, Rookie of the Year, you can't have started more than 7 Cup races in the prior year.
Okay, is there any kind of weird gray area for being a relief driver type?
It says have not. It says have not started in more than 7 NASCAR NCS Championship events in any prior season.
I mean,
So, and that's from the Charlotte Observer. Don't know what year it is.
and I don't know his stats right off the top of my head as far as how many he's done. He's done a lot this year because I mean, Kurt
Yeah.
went out since Pocono. So, and then yeah, it says here many NASCAR drivers and pickers in NASCAR also use Nomex fibers in their race suits to protect them. I don't. So is it in their suits or is it underneath? I'm not
Both.
getting. Yeah.
The
It is what it is. I
the-
mean,
the fire suits are Nomex, but there's also the underwear.
I'm sure it's a panther, like a pink panther thong or something. Whatever.
Whatever you're having in your dream,
Yeah.
just let us know, Corey.
Yeah. Ooh, no. So on a more serious topic, though, for NASCAR this week, the multiple failures, and as far as like, I kind of broke it down by manufacturer. I don't know if you guys picked up on that at all. I mean, they made it pretty obvious, but Fords were having the tire issues. Chevys were having really no issues that I saw, and Toyotas had the power steering issues. I could account the tires to a setup. Maybe they're doing something setup wise, but it's hard.
So,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I didn't watch the race this weekend.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. I love Bristol, and I taped it, and I was gonna watch it. I just haven't had time. But
Oh.
so you said Fords had tire issues. Was it a team or was it multiple different teams or
multiple? Like when you watch the race, I guess I'll try not to spoil it for you this week. But Greg, did you watch it?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Greg, did you watch the race?
No, but I've seen some.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of media stuff about it.
It was frustrating. Like as a NASCAR fan, I was actually getting frustrated, and like it was constant.
I know there was a ton of power steering issues, and that led to other problems, tires being blown out, all that kind of good stuff.
Well, it was primarily the Fords that kept losing tires, and I'm sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, maybe that's a setup. Maybe in the Ford camp, they've got too much camber or too much toe. I would think camber at that track, but it's
usually it's camber.
Yeah.
All the same tire?
The problem with these cars so far has been tire pressure, I think, more than anything.
Exactly, and that's why I'm like, maybe they're doing something in their setup that's causing this problem. So it's like I don't want to harp on the manufacturer for that, other than the fact that Ford at that point is making probably a bad call on the tires.
Then a Ford dominated the race, right?
Yes, a Ford ended up winning.
I don't know. I don't want to say ended up winning. I want to say dominated. That's what I heard.
Oh well, yeah, pretty much.
17 supposedly dominated the race. Is that true?
I did not hear that.
I would
heard
say-
that Ford kind of.
I would say if you add together Brad Keselowski's laps led plus Christopher Buescher's, maybe
Way to
the
get a plug in there
team.
for your guy.
Well, as a team, there's only two of them. I got to give them credit. But as a team, maybe they dominated the race or maybe had the most laps led. I don't know. I don't have the figures in front of me. But yeah, Brad was actually leading for about 140, I think. And while leading with a good, gap, he lost his right front. Went right up into the wall.
So Chris Buescher led 169 laps.
Okay.
Christopher Bell led 143. Keselowski led 109.
Okay.
So I mean,
I
overall,
guess it
yeah, he did
depends.
lead the most.
Well, but that's not dominating.
That's not dominating, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
But
not like
I-
Truex at
but-
the 600 years
But
ago.
if he took the lead with like 175 to go and he led the next 169, that's it just took him time to get up there. That's
Yeah.
pretty dominant,
I mean, he started 20th, so it would have taken him a little bit to get there.
All right.
But yeah, I kind of heard that the Fords made their way to the front on pit stops, but I didn't watch it. So Corey, you'd have a better idea.
Yeah, I think a lot of it might have been pit stop. It was mass chaos, though. Like, I was sitting there trying to keep up with a lot of stuff because it was constantly, there goes another tire, there goes this, there goes that. And the power steering issues with the Toyotas, like I wanted to try to chalk that up to a setup issue as well. Maybe
Well,
there's
that's
something
all
in
one team now.
But I mean, there's only 6 Toyotas in the field, and to
That's what
have
I
6
mean.
Toyotas in the field continuously fail, you had 2 of them. I think 2 of them that were permanently knocked out, like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I'd
the
say that's
Fords.
a Joe Gibbs issue.
Yeah.
No, there was also Fords that had issues with it. It was just a matter of, I think, probably it's a seal issue with whatever steering box
They said it
NASCAR
was.
has set up. It's just another one of these growing pains of these cars that
Yeah.
were already delayed, and there's not really a good way of getting around the fact that they're not 100% proven yet. This
No.
is kind of the proven, proving year on what they're doing.
And that's why I have a hard time being critical about the cars. Like, a lot of people are bashing the car, and it's like, well, you gotta, like, in my mind, somebody that works on cars enough, I was like, yeah, you had some testing sessions last year, but you're not doing 500 laps beating and banging for a testing session.
Yeah, but maybe part of the problem is, and why this is so different, is because NASCAR is mandating specific parts. Like, you have to use these parts. You can't alter them. You can't. They've taken the teams out of fabricating.
Yeah.
Parts that last or take weight out here. So to try to even the field a little bit, they made them all IROC cars, and so if NASCAR has a part that sucks, they all have to run that part, and that's kind of, I think Kevin Harvick was alluding to that last week.
Well, and as somebody dealing with getting race parts this year in the past couple of years, since COVID, getting any race parts in general it's tough. When you do get stuff, you don't always know you're going to get the right thing, or you're going to get something that's not going to have a material defect or a manufacturing defect, because they can't get these things out fast enough. They're just sending out whatever they can get.
Yeah.
Now that NASCAR is going to these commercial parts, like you said, they took it away from the teams. They're not doing all the inspection on this stuff. They're just buying this part because they have to, and they put it on the car, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but they don't have much control over that, because you're relying on the QC of whoever these companies are providing this stuff. At any level of racing these past couple of years, there's all kinds of issues. In my class of modified racing with the crate motors last year, if you got a brand new motor, it was pretty much junk. They had problems. Chevy had problems with their manufacturing process. Shocking.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, all right, you don't want a 2021 motor. You want a 2020 or you want a 2022 this year. But, 2021, if you got one, you had to have it worked on to get it fixed, or else it would just tear up.
So let's go back real quick to who was not having problems at Bristol. What manufacturer?
Yeah, Chevy. I didn't notice. Like, my wife
No,
and I
no,
were
I'm
sitting there
just kidding.
watching it, and I'm like, I don't think Chevrolet has many issues
Yeah.
tonight, and good for them. But it's like, what is it? Like, what
Well,
is the problem? They say shitty
so
parts, but is it the parts or is it the setup?
well, it's probably partly the parts
Yeah,
and partly the setup, but the teams can only do so much,
yeah,
right? So, um, but what? So on a positive side, what that has produced is 19 winners this year so far.
which is
Which is
fantastic.
yeah. So, and the Bubba Wallace up front, like, so
Haters.
yeah.
It's
No, I'm just saying. So it's doing what they want it to do. They really want an IROC series. They really want 40 cars out there that are exactly the same, and the drivers have to drive them different. So uh, and we're never gonna get there because Hendrick and Gibbs and those teams have ultimate unlimited money to put into these things, but um, it's closer than it's ever been probably right now.
Oh, I love it.
yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean, I don't think there's in reality, I don't think there's a lot of people that are against that. Everybody wants to see the drivers show their talent, not just, hey, I've got the best team. Let's face it, nobody wants NASCAR to be Formula One, but at the end of the day, in those things, what comes to light is the guys that are so good that it doesn't matter they're in a junk car; they can still do something with it, and that's when you see the amazing drivers come out like Larson when he was on Chip Ganassi. Ganassi at the time was not good, but Larson came in and started competing and,
yep.
and competing for wins, and now we see just how good he is when he's in the even equipment.
Well, look at was it Kurt
I
Busch
wouldn't
and
I wouldn't
Furniture
call
World?
Hendrick even though, but I got you.
Well, I mean, I
Yeah,
mean this year, but last year,
Yeah, yeah.
sure. But I'm just saying compared to like Gibbs,
No, I
because
got you. Yeah.
yeah, obviously Hendrick and Gibbs are in a league of their own these days, but in terms of being at the top tier with all those 8 other drivers that you expect to see, or 7 other drivers, I guess, that you expect to see up front every week. In that first year with the cars they were all used to, you saw him win what 7 races or something.
Yeah, a lot. Championship, just up front every week. Yeah. I mean, you're right. It's a good point that we see better racing now. Maybe is it better racing? Better competition. Almost
Better
I would say
competition.
better
It makes
racing.
yeah. Well,
it makes every race a little more like a super speedway.
a little bit closer, but I mean, I think we talked about it earlier today, actually, or tonight. Excuse me. Like, I can understand why people miss the old days of NASCAR and stuff, but I would rather watch a race where they're coming across the line side by side up to 2 seconds apart than somebody that was 2 laps up and was able to stop and smoke a cigarette in the pits.
Yep, yep. I think that was in your stream this morning.
Yeah.
I don't know. I loved watching Jeff Gordon win 13 races in one year. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That's because you like rainbows.
Yeah, 1998.
Yeah. I remember
Probably.
that.
I don't know if we'll ever see a season like that again.
Well, I mean, it makes me wonder if we're going to see people like Jimmy Johnson again.
Oh no.
I mean, our
That's
Johnsons and Earnhardts and
If
well,
you
Jimmy
would,
Johnson really. I don't know. He could definitely drive. He won all those championships,
yeah,
but the way the chase was for whatever he won 5 in a row, whoever
yeah,
was good in those last 10 races, there was no playoffs like it is now. It was at 10 to go, we reset the points and then you go. And he had to win it, no doubt. Like, I'm not trying to take that from him. But I think in the way it is today or the way it was before that championship, I don't think he would have won that many. But he won it with the rules there was. So, I mean,
but let's face it,
yeah,
this season with the way the chase is, with the way the cars are now, the chase is totally different. I mean, we started talking about this before the playoffs started and expected it to be all the playoff drivers in the top six. There's 16 playoff drivers. You expected the top 16 to be playoff guys every week. That's the way
Yeah.
it seemed to have been the last couple of years. But
Not a
this year
single
they
playoff
haven't even
winner.
won a race yet.
Nope. That's awesome in my mind. My guy finally got one, but a little bit late. And then one thing I do like about this, there's things I like more about the way the playoffs work than I dislike. But you've got people like Ryan Blaney right now, which I kind of don't like it. He's got no wins on the season, but consistency does matter. He's sitting 8th right now in points.
Yeah, but he was like 3rd.
Yeah, well, he could still theoretically though make it without winning, and I can understand the frustration.
I don't. If you
Personally.
can finish 2nd in every race, you deserve to win a championship.
Listen, if you want to keep it a real championship, I think you need to have the ability to not win a single race all year and still win the championship. Because if not, you just erased the history of NASCAR as being a championship that you don't have to win everything. It's not about winning; it's about the consistency. It's a point system. It's how normal racing works. NASCAR is the only real racing that doesn't do that anymore. So I think that's kind of a holdover that connects them to their history. If you made it to where only winners mattered, you'd lose some of that. It's already disconnected enough.
It's very close to that. Yeah, yeah.
Is there anybody that shocks you that got kicked out this last week, or do you guys not know?
The eight. If
Riddick.
So if he would have won Bristol, if the 14 didn't take him out at Bristol, he would have had extra points.
He would have made it.
Probably would still be in the chase. Yeah.
I have to agree with you on that one.
You know, so because everybody's on Chastain, but I think the 14 is reckless when he gets close to the front.
Oh, yeah, definitely in that case.
Yeah, I mean,
it's happened a few more times this year, but yeah.
Well, I've heard a lot of them say on the commentators with the broadcasters and stuff, and they're drivers, so I don't know which way to go with it. Take it with a grain of salt or what, but they're just like, you want to have a driver like that that's gonna make those moves, and it's like, but do you?
Well, you know, and that dude, the 14, he's like, I don't know, 6'12" or something. I don't know how big he is. Nobody in the garage is gonna mess with him, so
no,
you know,
like going to
Kyle
that
Larson
Bristol,
ain't getting out of the car acting like he's gonna beat him up. So
going to that Bristol issue, I haven't kept up with the rest of the stuff. I know he's had some other similar problems, but with that, I mean, he had just spun out before he even tried to slide him. That was his biggest problem. I don't know if it could have ever worked, but he spun himself out as soon as he tried to set it in there. He just, when he drove in so hard, he just started to spin.
Well, he was going. He's going to see what happened. You know, I'm going to go in here and see if I can win this race. Yeah, I don't blame him for that, but I do think taking out the leader on the last lap, or some
last turn.
Yeah, some last ditch effort to hope you can. I don't know. I don't.
Well, and that's why I went back. That's why I said, I was like, do you want a driver like that? Because it might work 1 out of 10 times, but that's it. And then you actually end up with a worse result.
So
every time he's done it.
My opinion is Ross Chastain and him, right? You can look at some of the stuff they've done.
Yeah.
They're both very young and they're both very aggressive. They're probably going to stay aggressive, but the skill and the experience will come and they'll get better. You know, if you got a guy that's never sticking it in there, is he ever going to do anything? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to have a level of aggressiveness to do this.
I mean, it being like 7'14" really helps too, so you don't have to worry about it.
And it really comes down to, especially with like those two, I don't think either one of them has ever been really set in, hey, I have a guaranteed ride. I got to work. They're in that mindset of I've got to perform and I've got to show out, or else I might lose my ride.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah,
it makes you, if you're willing to destroy equipment, but you have that mindset, you're going to do stuff that people aren't going to like along the way.
Yeah,
and I think at the end of the day, that may be a little bit circling back here to the Noah Gragson mindset. He may, I don't know much about him, but maybe he has that mindset to an extent that, he's not got a guaranteed situation. I mean, obviously he's going to Cup next year, so that's not very true at the moment, but, he's still got to perform.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Noah Gragson, what he did this weekend with Ty Gibson, I forgot the other kid's name, the number 2 car, Sheldon Creed.
Yep.
Excuse me. when he just flat out ran right in the back of Ty Gibbs, and I don't think it was warranted or necessary.
Oh yeah, I did see that. I did
Yeah.
actually see that highlight. Yeah, that was a little out there.
Yeah, I was like, come on, dude. And then he won it.
What point of the race was that at? I mean, it wasn't even long. It wasn't that long into the race, was it?
Oh no, it was actually. Well, I was gonna say it was actually close to the end, but now I'm second guessing. I think it was more towards the middle to end, last half. I think. But I mean, and then going back now real quick to Briscoe and Rostain talking about the levels of aggressiveness, and like I said, do you really want a driver like this? Because he runs good, but then he actually makes himself worse in the end. Excuse me. Briscoe with 1 win, Chastain with 2. Okay. Top fives. Chastain has 10. Briscoe has 3.
Well, I don't expect Briscoe to be. I don't. He's not in a team that can compete with.
But he's been up there. And then
I mean, not like Chastain though.
No, not like Chastain. Well, I think the Fords this year have been struggling as a whole.
Every time Briscoe's up there, he wrecks himself.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, and he's only got 4 top 10s, where Chastain has 16.
That used to be back in the day. Well, the 47 used to be like that.
Recky Stenhouse? Yeah.
Yeah, Stenhouse, like when he gets close to the front, he overdrives. But there was a driver back in the day
that in the back.
used to do that all the time, man.
Yeah,
Gosh, I don't remember.
Danica?
Robbie Gordon.
Oh, you're way back. Okay.
Yeah, Robbie Gordon was like that. He was a decent driver, 15th, 16th, but if you ever got in the top 5, watch out.
He gets overzealous.
Yeah.
And again, that was one of those things. He was running for himself a lot of those times. And you're looking at the potential payoff of maybe a win, maybe the sponsor, publicity, whatever you're looking at. It's a lot of nerves get in your head at that point, I imagine. And
yeah, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I can't imagine how you feel in real life doing this. I mean, Greg, I know you know, but like, if you're getting up there in real life, you're looking at a shot to win in the top tier, even the top 3 tiers. I mean, my heart starts pounding doing this if I'm leading. Get nervous.
Yeah, I mean, just running the class that I race, I've run. One night I was running second at one point in the race, and I was catching the leader, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't know how to feel about this. I started getting anxious about it, and then I don't know. I think we had a caution, and I got passed or something. I don't know what happened, but I haven't won yet. So,
well, I mean, I know I've had it a couple times where I beat myself. I get too excited or I get too nervous or something, and I'm sitting in first, second, even third, and I freak myself out to a point where I overdrive the next turn or make a bad move and I lose it.
Yeah, I think we've all done that.
Yeah, it sucks when you do that too.
Yeah. Hey, before we finish this thing up today, I got two topics I want to talk about real quick. So Hamlin said this week, I don't know if you saw it, that he's upset about the Roval. He was like, why are we going to the Roval? Why are we still doing that? Why is it on the schedule? Charlotte, I'm talking about.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so, and he says, this isn't IMSA, this isn't road course racing, too many, a couple 5 road courses a year, okay, 7, 8, too many, so what do you think about that?
I think shut up and drive it. I think, I've said it before personally. I think no matter what type of racing you're doing, you can learn something from it to make another form of it better.
I agree with that. My take on it would be go to a real road course or go to an oval track, but don't try to combine them. It's like making an asphalt track a dirt track.
He said it's not a road course. It's something they built to try to race on. It's not a real road course. Why are we going there?
Most of these things where they do that, they're so they can invite people out to pay to come ride, race the track for their local SCCA or whatever it's called, deal. And then they've got this in their head that they can run NASCAR there. I mean, I understand the Rolex 24 big race Daytona, a little bit of a different situation, but when you just out of the blue come up with this road course that exists, I mean, I don't know how much you guys know about it, but I know a few of the not local tracks, but the more regional tracks like Pocono has a big road course,
Yep.
but they don't race on it.
So does New Hampshire.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, most of the tracks do, but when they built that Roval, they built it for NASCAR, I think, and it was very popular when it started, and I still like it.
I like it.
I don't
yeah.
think it's a bad, but
Yeah, I think it's a decent
I
race.
do
Usually.
agree. 5 road courses a year is probably good. We don't probably need 7, 8, 9 road courses a year. I mean, it's just not what NASCAR has been about.
And I can see that. Yeah, I can respect that.
What
Yeah.
I don't know is their old school schedule when they ran like 60 races in a year. How many road courses did they run? I know they had more road courses, but I mean, if they only ran 10 road courses out of 60 races and we're over here running 8 out of 36, yeah, the number's a little off.
Yeah. Through the 90s, I mean, they ran 2.
Yeah,
you
but
had
in the
Riverside.
90s,
Yeah.
in the 90s they ran 36 races usually.
Yeah, it was 36 races they ran 2. Now, they're still running 36 races and they're up to I
Yeah.
don't know how many. I didn't count them, but
I'm just talking about
know.
back in the day when they ran like 60.
Yeah, no idea. Yeah, I don't know how many. Yeah.
Because that's the only real comparison. Because otherwise, I don't know. To me, NASCAR is it's really a historical type thing to me. There's a lot of history to it. It's been at it for many years. You can change some of that to keep up with the times, but do you really want to change the baseline of where you're coming from? I mean,
yeah, and so NASCAR has alienated fans since
a bit, yeah.
I mean, they're looking for new fans. So, they're trying so many different things to do that. So I mean, that's their model now is not history but new fans. So they're trying all these different things, which is it makes it a little more exciting. I think different stuff. Um, we have too many of the same tracks already.
The more I've
the
done it, I'm
Michigans
like,
and Californias and
yeah, Michigan and California. Those 2-mile ovals aren't is that really fun either.
So did you hear this? California is going away.
Well, didn't they say before they're going to make it a half mile, and then that went away, and now what?
No, it's going to be a short track.
Yeah, half mile.
The last race on this configuration is in February 26th. Last time they'll race on that auto club the way it is.
Well, I know they talked about it a couple of years ago, and then all of a sudden it just disappeared. The media stopped covering it, and then they just, we don't know what's going on with it, so they just stopped discussing it.
Yeah, so
I like it.
This came out September 15th. This article I'm looking at right now, and it says, let's see. NASCAR's final event on the current track will be February 26, 2023. NASCAR fans aren't unanimously on board with this reconfiguration plan. It says 2-mile oval into a short track. The details remain unclear. So
they should just keep the 2-mile oval and just have it like crisscross into the short track in the infield and come back out on the oval.
Yeah.
Just do another oval like that.
Well, I think so. I started watching NASCAR heavily. I watched it on and off, but probably like 93, 94 time frame. I really started watching every race, taping them back in those days. And we had the North Wilkesboros and the Rockinghams and then all that stuff went away. And Darlington twice a year, they took one of those away, and then it became Texas. Well, Texas, Charlotte, Atlanta, right? They reconfigured Atlanta to make it look like it does now.
And they all look the damn same.
Then you had Michigan, California, all these big tracks that really had kind of boring racing.
Yeah.
They got rid of some short tracks and got these big. And I think their thought was they could put more fans there.
Yeah.
So, and now that less fans are going, they're trying to go back to a little bit more of seems road courses, and then they're trying to bring in some more short tracks. So, and I think that's where they need to be. The short tracks are just much more fun to watch.
Yeah, they're trying to get the excitement back. They've had the years where Ambrose and Kurt Busch and those guys were going at it for wins at Watkins Glen and Infineon, Sears Point, whatever they call it now. I don't even know. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Sonoma.
there you go, Sonoma. I guess it doesn't have a fancy name anymore.
No.
But yeah, I get it. The road courses back when they were, 2 in a year, they put on some great racing there for a few years, and then it turned into, hey, let's have a bunch of these things. And I think another thing you have to look at with NASCAR too with the road courses is you get the stigma of they only turn left. So the more road courses they have, the more aware people are of them running road courses in a season. The more it comes back to, hey, we don't just turn left. I mean, yeah, the majority of the races you turn left, but it's not just that. You do have to be multidisciplined to be able to really succeed at it.
Yeah. Well, I know NASCAR made my relationship a hard thing to get going up. My girlfriend at the time, my girlfriend, she's not into NASCAR, but of course, my first race that I watched starting dating her was Pocono back in the day, and it was bloody boring.
Ooh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
one to not watch.
Yeah, Pocono's a tough one.
Oh my god! And I'm just like, I swear, babe, something's about to happen here. Like
Now,
they're gonna make a move, and they never did.
Yeah, if you watch, they're gonna shift down into turn 2,
Yeah.
and then they're gonna shift up when they come onto the straightaway.
Yeah,
it's really exciting.
I tried to explain to her, it's like it's chess with physics. You have to get yourself in the right spot to be able to do the right thing at the right time. And here we're having one of our first meals together. She's being amazing and let me watch the race during one of our first dates. I was a bad date.
Yeah, aren't you romantic?
Yeah, but I think we made like a spread and everything, and she wasn't familiar with racing, and I was like, this is gonna be great. It was with the new car, the Gen 6 at the time, and yeah, it went terribly.
Yeah, that's not a good first race.
No,
it's like they're at Michigan. Watch this.
Yeah, it's enjoy. I hope you like the sound because that's what
I mean, even like Daytona and Talladega for a couple of years, they would get single file on the high side and they would ride for 50 laps. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, but as somebody that doesn't know what's going on, it is a little bit exciting to watch because they're so close the whole time.
Yeah, especially when you see your first big wreck from just a little tap.
Yeah, but that's really all. I'm not into the.
I would rather that than the tandem shit.
Oh yeah.
That I hated that.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way to really make that. You can't let them just go because those cars they're too powerful. So.
I wish people would understand that. I mean, there's a lot. I've seen some people recently saying
I'd say
that's
get
unrestricted.
rid of the damn racetracks. They won't, but
no, yeah. Let me go to one.
Oh, I hate it when they say something like, "Oh, there was 77 lead changes at Talladega. We broke a record." Like, who? That's not exciting to me.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
okay, so you just keep pushing each other past the leader, and then so whoever shuffles up front on the last lap wins.
Right place.
Exactly. That was the only interesting part about the super speedway races before was I'd watch the last 20 laps. I'd watch the highlights to see the wrecks before that, but I watched the last 20 laps or so to see who managed to pull, slingshot their way through and make it to the front. Now you don't even have that. It's just if you're out front, and you can barely pass.
Right.
And yeah, there might be a wreck. But
I still feel like the way the new points and everything works, and that's one thing. This is what I love about it, because even for the stage positions, you see them fanning out 3-4 wide at these bigger tracks or short tracks. They actually start beating and banging. There's more incentive to get position.
I'll be honest. I've been surprised by that the whole time since they started it because I really expected it to be not as exciting as it gets. I mean, the stage breaks I find stupid. The racing that it provides is, it gets exciting.
Yeah.
But I was surprised by that. I expected people to, play it safe and not try to run each other over. Instead, they're about to wreck each other for a point.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was fantastic.
It's like at the end of the day, if you wreck yourself now, you don't get anything but the point you're getting now. So maybe don't act like an idiot. But yeah, sometimes they just seem to ignore it.
And I think if you know the caution's coming out at any point, you're gonna try to get up and be the leader if you can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
You
there's
want to go on
definitely.
pit road first, and
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes it more exciting.
Like I said, it does. I didn't like it at first. I still don't like the idea of it, but it does. It does instigate more, intense racing right at those breaks.
it
Yeah.
takes a lot of the strategy out. You know,
Also true.
Yeah.
because it used to be, you could short pit, there's still a little bit of that in the final stage.
I was gonna say in the final one, yeah.
But in the first half of the race, or first 2/3 of the race, it's just ride and pit when the caution comes out.
And there's the example. That's what I was talking to my dad about the race we did on Monday, where I got a speeding penalty, and he was joking with me saying I've been watching Kyle Larson too much because he keeps getting speeding penalties. And I was like, yeah, but he can get away with it because between all the stage breaks, the wave arounds, the lucky
Yeah.
dogs, all that
Yeah.
stuff, you can make all that up and it really doesn't mean much. Whereas, in Corey and I's race on Monday, it was one speeding penalty and you're screwed because we kept having some funkiness with the lucky dog that was there. We could have been back in the lead lap, but it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, wasn't Kyle Larson like 5 laps down or 4 laps down recently, and
I think 4 laps, yeah.
finished
Yeah, I
was
think so.
like in the top 5 by the end of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully
it's
we can get that kind of luck
kinda-
on Friday night. It's gonna be a tough one.
Yeesh.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's gonna be a nightmare.
I think it's another one of those just race the track, and you'll be all right. Don't
Until you find yourself 6 wide in turn 1. I'm telling you that right now. I remember last year.
Yeah,
I was
sounds
at the
like fun.
last caution. I was gonna win it, last caution, and then I screwed up.
Well, if you restart on the outside of the front row, what do? All you
Yeah.
can do is stay high. Everybody else is going to go to the bottom. You're probably going to lose 12 spots, by the time you get to turn, 2.
Yeah.
Because they're all going to cut the dog leg, but you can't go down there because you don't know if the guy below you is going to go.
And there's no room either to move around on the back stretch because it's so narrow. There's walls on both sides. It's like, oh my god. Hopefully people can. Like that wreck I had earlier, Greg, where it right in front of me, and then there's nowhere to go, no way to miss it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's about time to wrap it up tonight, guys. We're actually a little over.
Man. Yeah. Well, if you take out that little part at the beginning, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. My bad. I gotta. There's so many buttons.
So many buttons.
There's so many
t-shirts with that on there.
So many buttons. There you go. New Mission Motorsports. So many buttons. You guys got anything else?
Nah, man.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys joining me again. Greg, you good?
Yep. I'm good.
Alrighty, everybody. That's going to wrap us up for tonight. Appreciate y'all coming out tonight. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow, and also send us your clips, videos, and everything on newmissionmotorsports@gmail.com. Have them posted here for our YouTube release tomorrow. I appreciate you guys. You guys have yourself a great day. We will